Dr. Andrew Nyaoncha is a consultant neurosurgeon in Consolata Hospital, Mathari, Nyeri. He turned down a scholarship to study computer engineering in Yale University in the US to pursue his career goal of being a doctor. He works in what he calls the province because he says it is here where his services are needed the most.
My name is Dr. Andrew Nyaoncha, and I'm a neurosurgeon. I'm based primarily at Consolata Hospital, Mathari, that's in Nyeri. But I also provide services in the wider Mount Kenya region, including Nyeri, all the way from Murang'a backwards, up to Nanyuki, Nyahururu. I grew up in Nyamira, so I went to Nyamira District School. For all my 8 years of primary school. I was again among the top 10 students in KCP in 1997. And then I joined Mango High School. So for the 4 years of high school before going to the University of Nairobi. There was a lot of other trainings in between. For example, between high school and between high school and university. I've been to like 5 different colleges, studying things, from French to business and computers in Strathmore, to teaching, to doing just about anything. I've always wanted to work out of town, out of Nairobi. And how I ended here is both by design and accident, I would say. First thing in my background, I'm originally a general surgeon. And then once I finished my general surgery, I began working here as a general surgeon. At the same time, I had been inspired to become a neurosurgeon, so I'd applied to join a school again to do neurosurgery. And within 2 months of working here, I was pretty much doing more neurosurgery cases than I was doing general surgical cases, and it was very obvious the need of the population. Even before I finished my program, in general surgery, I'd already applied to do neurosurgery. So it was a culmination of all those things, getting accepted into the neurosurgery program in January of 2015. At the same time, working in an area where the neurosurgical need was obvious, and also having had enough skills to be able to take care of most of the basic things. And therefore, there was no doubt in my mind. By March, I had made an agreement with the hospital to release me from contract to go back for training. And part of that agreement was that once I qualify, I would come back here. But not require any compulsion. It was very obvious the need here. And I'm sure you've heard about the work we are doing, and it speaks for itself. Mm-hmm. So I trained in what you'd call a fellowship program. I trained under the COSEXA program. And so because I was already a general surgeon, that exempted me from doing what is called the MCS, which is the first basic 2 years. So I went into the senior 4 years. That's what I did. Fortunately, I think after joining within 1.5 years, I got a scholarship to go to England, United Kingdom, under the Royal College of Surgeons. And I think that was a major break for me. I did just over 2 years in the UK and learned a lot of what I do now. And then I came back here and completed my COSEXA program. So I had this intercalated 2 years of what we call a clinical fellowship in the UK from the Royal College, which I finished properly. And also that went into my COSEXA program as well. So I came out with 2 qualifications in 4 years. During training, I knew I was training to come and work here. I knew I was training to come and work in this environment. By environment, I mean the people and the facilities. And all the time during training, even when I was in the UK, I would look at a theater and trying to imagine translating that care back home. But I think the main reason and the confidence that I have to work here is knowing that we are maybe not our environment, but we are world-class in terms of the quality of surgery that we do. When I was training overseas, I would do the surgeries on my own. Of course, there was supervision initially, and then later you're allowed to do surgeries on your own. I had very good mentors, if you don't mind me mentioning them. Mr. Richard Nelson, who actually came to visit us here in December. He's one of the most senior surgeons in the UK. He does a lot of vascular and aneurysm surgery. He taught me pretty much everything I know on that. Mr. George Malcolm, who was a friend, and I think a great support of everything I was doing, and Mr. Nitin Patel, who taught me spine surgery. So when you go overseas and in 6 months they allow you to do the most complex surgeries, then you feel, yes, I have no worries. If I work in Nyeri, if I work at the end of the world, it will be world class. And the surgery we just did, we removed the whole tumor. It's a massive tumor. You've seen the scan, and the patient is completely okay. He's already awake and he's talking already within half an hour almost. So so you don't feel like you're a village doctor or a village surgeon. Now, as regards, yes, of course we have challenges in equipment, we have challenges in facility, but you met our management and they are very supportive. And this institution is not what it was 5 years ago, 2015, when I joined. It's almost completely different. We've invested heavily in buying equipment, theater, things that we need, and therefore we have the confidence that we provide equal, if not sometimes better care than people get in other towns or in urban centers. So with that confidence, there's a lot of personal gratification. I don't feel any loss. But then the advantages of working here is that you help people who otherwise would not access the kind of care that you're giving, be it an issue of cost, being just an issue of being on the queue. If they were to go to another center, they might wait maybe for 3, 6 months, 1 year sometimes for treatment, but they can get it here in a very short time. Cost-wise, I want to say with confidence that I think we're the cheapest in the country. Yes. And obviously we have good support from the NHIF, from the other foundations, some of the other insurances. So we provide care. The thing is, we do a lot of cases in a week, more than perhaps I saw during my training. Initially, I trained in Aga Khan University for about 4 years. I've also trained at the University of Nairobi as an undergraduate and also as a postgraduate during my general surgery and also during my COSEXA program. And sometimes we do more elective surgeries here in a week. Elective, that is not emergency, than they do in those centers. We do brain tumors of all kinds. So we've just done a very big, what we call sphenoid ridge meningioma. And the next one I'm doing is a fairly big as well, olfactory groove meningioma. So those are some of the benign tumors. We see malignant tumors, such as glioblastoma, fairly common and now more often in young people, unfortunately. We do a lot of vascular surgery, so a lot of aneurysm surgery. That's my passion, really, aneurysm surgery. We do a lot of those. And then we do a lot of spine surgery as well. All forms of instrumentation, from the skull all the way down to lower spine decompression, spine fusions, degenerative disease, spine tumors, what we call intramedullary tumors. That is actually tumors within the spinal cord itself. We do that. And then our pediatric service is not very heavy, so a lot of shunts, congenital malformations. So we see the whole spectrum. Many surgeons, and I'm sure most surgeons have traveled quite widely, they can tell you, frankly, there isn't a world of difference between what we do here and what is done outside. And unfortunately, sometimes patients are fairly misinformed when it comes to cancerous tumors. If I tell a patient you have a high-grade cancerous tumor, which is advanced, cannot be removed, or can be removed. May leave some deficits, or can be removed partially, and then you get adjuvant chemotherapy, radiotherapy. And it's human nature really to seek a better solution. And sometimes the patients then undergo treatments overseas that you may feel are not indicated or may not really change the patient's outcome. And they come and say, my doctors at home said that they couldn't do it, and I went and it was done. But 6 months down the line, the story is different. And I see some of those. And obviously, if it wasn't doable the first time, it's not going to be doable the second time. And we are cautious to do something. I think when such a situation happens, then you have to offer proper information. I think we need more doctors. We need more surgeons, such that more neurosurgeons and surgeons in general, or doctors in general, so that we can grow our own, basis of information, so that patients can reach more people for advice, so that we can be able to advance. There is no joy in saying you're the only person here, or they are the only person doing this, or this is unique, because we can only grow above the basic if we are so many of us, and there is, positive competition, and there is positive sharing of thoughts, and there is improvement of our services. The other thing is ourselves. I don't want to say our governments, or to invest in infrastructure. So you watch me doing a brain tumor, and obviously there are things that may lack, like an operating microscope. Fortunately, we are getting one. My good friend, Mr. Richard Nelson, has offered to send us one from the UK. But the cost of an operating microscope, be it around 8-9 million, is the cost of a good car, a VX. And there are so many of those in the county governments and in the national government, but they will not buy a microscope which costs the same. And so it's just prioritizing. My day is crazy. Because I have to balance a lot between working and family time, which is not so much. But my entire day is busy. I can't say there's a time you get to sit down. So today is Monday. We operate all day. Sometimes we operate way past midnight. Tuesday, then we have to do reviews and other things. Wednesday, we run clinics, and Thursdays as well. Then I gotta find time for the family in the evenings and over the weekend. When we started, we weren't so busy, but now we are so busy. I can't handle the number of phone calls that come in. So, there's always, the phone is always ringing. Someone, as far as, Mandera from Isiolo, Nyahururu from Nakuru, Thika this way, some people from Nairobi. Yesterday I was in Tharaka Nithi. So there is all that demand. The day is busy, then we have evening meetings and so forth. So it ends when it ends. Fortunately, I have a very supportive wife. She's very nice. She's helped me a lot through this, and she understands what I do. And we share a lot. She's a medic, so if I tell her I gotta do this, she understands why I got to do it. The children, not so much, but I have to find a way of making up. I got 2 children. I got a little boy, he's 6, very adventurous, very smart boy, and a little girl, she's almost 2. In 2 years of my being here as a neurosurgeon, it's just about 2 years, because it's September, we have pretty much turned the landscape of Nyeri and Mount Kenya region in terms of neurosurgery. When you look at our number of cases, for example, my first year we did just under 250 cases, elective cases. For neurosurgery, that is about 6 cases every week. That is a lot of work. And yet there are people who still could not access. There are people who had to be referred to Nairobi. There are people who, for whatever reason, could not reach the hospitals. On my way to Tharaka Nithi yesterday, there's a beautiful hospital there. When you pass through Kerugoya, when you pass through Embu, all those big towns, they need doctors. When you go to Nakuru, of all places, they need neurosurgeons, Nyahururu, Kisii. which is my hometown. They need, Nyamira is my hometown, but Kisii, again, is a big metropolis. They need neurosurgeons there. So we should not be scared to venture outside of the city, and that is where your services are needed.